This is how we come to the end of the first business and markets week in the month of June. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's June the 2nd. Of course, it's just the first 2 days of the new month. We've got the earlier part of that wrapping up the month, as it were, for the month of May. So we're technically in the final month for the first half of this year. So let's get into the markets. Just review very quickly for you. That's big jump rally that we saw on Tuesday when the Nigerian market reopened started fading as Thursday, 0.07% basis after that big jump of 5.23% on Tuesday, the morning after the inauguration. But the market sentiment in terms of positive bargain hunting still there if you look at the numbers yesterday more closely for the Nigerian bourse. So we've got our first weekend into the new administration, and we'll see how the markets will lay back, come back on Monday, and see how things begin to move from what we have on our hands in relation to the fuel subsidy, higher fuel prices, and what have you. The BRVM down by 0.24%, led by some of the big names on the market, including the Bank of Africa, Mali. The Egyptian market finished 0.2%. That's the EGX 30 market resume on Sunday. Thursday, the final trading day of the week in Cairo. Then you've got the Nairobi stock market closed for the Madaraka's public holiday. The stock market was closed on Thursday. 103.69 was where the market finished off on Wednesday. Today is the final day of the week in Kenya, as we see the markets trading post monetary policy decision on Wednesday by Patrick Njoroge, the central bank, leaving interest rates unchanged at 9.5%. And finally, South Africa market up roughly 1% in line with the risk-on sentiments that we saw around the developed and emerging markets globally on Thursday. Due to the jobs data out of the United States, the whole optimism around the debt ceiling deal, which was reached also in the US, and the state of the global economy, as well as the outlook on this Sunday's OPEC meeting in Vienna. So the GSE went up across the industrial resources as well as the financials sector. So let's take that down and look at the big stories across East Africa as we head into the weekend. Kenya has clocked 60 as an independent country. However, 60% of the country's economy is in the hands of foreign and domestic creditors. And that's not good news for this big economy east of the continent. This S&P Global Ratings says this is weaker economic growth this year across some of the countries in sub-Saharan Africa. So the S&P reviewed downwards from 3.4% to 2.9% GDP growth outlook for Angola, the DR Congo, Ethiopia, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and Mozambique. And Uganda says the lower prices has helped the country's inflation moderated to about 6.2% for the month of May, while Tanzania is looking to review the approval of that $42 billion LNG project, and that's suspected this month under President Yoweri Museveni. Let's touch with West Africa, where the oil prices, petrol prices higher this week is causing full queues. Well, those queues have since disappeared, in a manner of speaking, as you find fewer vehicles on the road as Nigerians begin to grapple with sometimes about fourfold increase in petrol prices across the country. The National Oil Corporation announced on Tuesday that it's lifted all regulations on petrol prices and it's no longer the monopoly in petrol imports, and will source, like every other marketer or importer, source FX from the central bank at the same rate. The country is in angst right now on the street. Not strike action or whatever, protests on the street yet. But of course, you can sense that people talking all around about how this is going to impact on livelihoods, economy, manufacturing industries, as well as transportation. It's a whole ecosystem that's going to be impacted. The labor union in Nigeria are kicking against the latest fuel subsidy removal, by the way. So the House of Representatives are telling on Thursday told the government to go full hog, removing subsidies on all petrol products completely in one fell swoop. In the meantime, Africa's biggest oil producer, Angola, has cut subsidies on its own gasoline, but provided concessions for taxi drivers, farmers, and fishermen. That's what Bloomberg reported late Thursday. The rest of the petrol products will remain subsidized until 2025. That's the story out of Luanda. So apart from petrol, diesel, kerosene, and other byproducts of crude oil will remain subsidized until much later. For now, it's about 300 kwanzas per liter in Angola. And EcoBank in West Africa, which is headquartered in Lomé, Togo, has unveiled a new EcoBank Single Market Trade Hub. The portal is to promote intra-African trade. About a dozen countries and other traders are already onboarded on this major platform. EcoBank Transnational is a major partner to the Afrexim Bank and the PAPSS, which is a Pan-African Payment Settlement System, in enthroning intra-Africa trade. EcoBank has one of the largest footprints of banking in Africa across 32 out of 54 African countries. And the central bank in Liberia during Wednesday raised interest rate to 17.5%, while OCP Africa, which is that huge industry giant out of Morocco, says it signed 2 MOUs with Togo here in West Africa to boost agriculture and mining sectors. Let's look into the stories around South Africa. Yes, the Mining in Durban Summit is taking place next week. We're going to have that covered for you here on Frontier Opening Bell. In the meantime, South Africa is looking to buy electricity from Mozambique as the troubled Eskom continue to disappoint. In the meantime, South Africa's Purchasing Managers Index, which is independent data out of ABSA, dipped to 49.2 reading in the month of May from 49.8 in the month of April. Well, there's not much difference, as you can see, because anything below 50 is a contraction if you know how to read the tea leaves. So the factory activities in South Africa is still in a contractionary mode. In the meantime, South Africa's Supreme Court has reviewed and now set aside that 8-year-old rule for companies to rotate their audit firms. Now it's no longer mandatory to do that. You can keep your audit firm for as many years as you wish. That's the decision of the Supreme Court. There's no statement yet from the market regulators as far as the latest Supreme Court decision is concerned on audit rotation. Steinhoff is looking for a court approval for debt restructuring, while Access Bank of Botswana has floated a new payments platform. It's called Access Africa. You can access that if you're in Botswana. Try it out. And finally, in North Africa, we're getting a couple of corporate news. As far as Telecom Egypt is concerned, a very robust first quarter, January to March this year. What you see, profit up 144%. That's quite sizable. About 4.1 billion local currency Egyptian pounds. That's the figures that came through. Sanlam in Mahok says its turnover rose 7.2% in Morocco for the first quarter of the year as well. In other business and economic news, Islamic banking is now accounting for about 5% of Egyptian banking sector. That was for the month of March. And Morocco's new instant interbank transfer payment system came into operation yesterday. That was a new system put together by the Bank Al Maghrib, which is the central bank, and other institutions within the North African economy. And finally, Algerian Sonatrach and Brazilian giant WEG, they're partnering together for what we call an energy efficiency in the North African economy. It's a cooperation from South America to North Africa, and that's some cooperation that Tunisia can use. And those are your business, markets, and economic headlines for this Friday. Lay back and enjoy the weekend, everyone. You can watch the show again on our YouTube. It's free. You can subscribe. You can also follow us across all our social media platforms, as well as visit our website, www.frontierafricareports.com. I am Bosun Olafaya. I'll see you soon. Have a good weekend, everyone.